My wife cheated with my boss, called me a broke loser, and now she's demanding the house and alimony. I'm fighting back in divorce. I, 26M, have been married to my wife, Clara, 23F, for a year. We had been together for 4 years and, despite our disagreements, had been able to make it work thus far. Clara and I are from quite different origins, and her life has been extremely different from mine. We first met in college at a friend's birthday celebration. I fell in love with her right away because she was the most beautiful person I'd ever seen. When I started talking to her, I discovered she was both charming and lovely. We got to know each other better over the next few months through texting, and we went on a number of dates before committing to a relationship. However, it wasn't until we moved in together that she told me about her family, which had always been a mystery to me. She had informed me that she did not want me to meet her family because she didn't get along with them and had been out of touch for several years. After almost a year together, I finally told her that I wanted to learn more about her family since it felt like she was hiding something from me, which I wasn't comfortable with because she knew everything about me. She ultimately informed me that she and her parents were no longer in contact because they had kicked her out when she started college. They wanted her to drop out and work to support the family, but she wanted to acquire a degree, which they didn't like. After a violent fight, they instructed her to go, so she did. With the support of a few family and friends, she was able to save enough money to cover her tuition, and that is how she paid for college. Apparently, her parents had always been frugal and unwilling to work hard enough to earn their own living. They were always reliant on the assistance of relatives, who finally isolated them since her parents promised to repay borrowed funds, but never did. They owned a failing makeup and beauty company and wanted Clara to join them, but she chose to cut them off. She informed me that it had been difficult to persuade her family to support her because of her parents' reputation, but happily, they felt sorry for her and agreed to help without demanding anything back. She owed a lot of people money, which is why she worked so hard at such a young age, earning a degree while simultaneously working part-time. Her tale inspired me, and I wanted to help her. I promised her I'd start contributing and assist her pay off her bills. As previously stated, I come from a very different family. My father is an ophthalmologist, and my mother is an entrepreneur who has a successful online jewelry business. I grew up nicely, and money was never a concern for me. However, this does not imply that I do not value money or recklessly spend it. I am not that type of person. What I'm trying to express is that I've never had to struggle with money. So, when I learned about Clara's story, I was moved. She had kept it a secret from me for so long because she was scared I would label her as a gold digger, as some had when they discovered she was dating me. We discussed it and decided that I would assist her in repaying her debts more quickly. I started sending her a specific amount of money every month, and she told me it was quite helpful. I never asked for details because I trusted her, and she had never given me any reason not to. I don't think she understood the money I gave her was from my income, not my parents', but that didn't matter to me. We were living in my apartment at the time, and I was responsible for all of the bills. I was already generating money, so it wasn't an issue. Clara had recently graduated and was still looking for full-time work, and I didn't want her to squander her money while I could manage on my own. We were happy together for the 4 years we lived together, including the year after our wedding. However, her conduct began to change slightly after we became engaged, though not dramatically enough for me to notice. I became really busy at work after we got engaged, rushing to finish everything before the honeymoon, so I didn't have time to notice minor details, such as how she was spending more time on her phone, frequently arriving home late, or how she had ceased looking for a full-time job. I wasn't worried about it because she had just graduated, and I knew she'd find something. We married about a year ago, and my parents and I paid for the entire ceremony. Clara did not have a large family, and we couldn't rely on her parents, so we opted to pay for the entire event ourselves. Clara didn't even offer to help, which I didn't think was unusual given her situation, and I was comfortable with it. Following the wedding, I continued to pay all of the major bills, not expecting her to share anything with me. She informed me she was still looking for work, but none of the offers fit her. She preferred something more demanding. I believed her since she had worked hard and deserved to rest. We also maintained the agreement under which I handed her money every month, figuring she was utilizing it to pay off her obligations. Unfortunately, I realized a few days ago that she was cheating on me with my boss. I was not spying. It happened by coincidence. Clara was showering, and I was in the living room where her laptop was charging. Suddenly, I noticed she was receiving a voice call on Instagram from an account called Unknown Lover. My initial inclination was to answer the phone, and then I heard my boss's voice wondering why she had taken so long to respond. The call ended, and I hung up right away, attempting to make sense of what had transpired. I tried to tell myself that there could be an innocent explanation, but then I opened Instagram on her laptop. When I opened the chats with the account Unknown Lover, I discovered they had been having an affair for a long time, even before we married. I scrolled back as far as I could, and Clara's long baths gave me plenty of time to unearth everything. They began flirting around the time we got engaged. According to what I learned, my boss, 32M, hit on her during our engagement party, and she responded beautifully. After that, he made a burner account to flirt with her, which is how their relationship began. I realized they had been sleeping together for quite some time, and she had been more verbally affectionate with him than she had ever been with me. In those texts, she repeatedly expressed her love for him and her willingness to give up everything for him, even me. My employer was hesitant to pursue their connection because he was married and had a child around the age of 5 or 6. He had told her to wait and assured her that they would be reunited soon, which was why she was staying with me. To say I was devastated is an understatement. I began to cry as I read those messages. Meanwhile, Clara got out of the shower and rushed over to comfort me when she heard me weep. But when she saw what I was reading on the screen, she took a step back. Instead of denying or apologizing, she simply stood there calmly as I cried. After a while, I got upset and asked her what was going on. She simply told me that she had been waiting for me to find out and had even considered informing me herself because she no longer wanted to be with me. She said that she was fatigued from pretending to love me and that she had fallen out of love with me only a few weeks after our wedding. She explained that she had realized my boss was the appropriate man for her. When I asked her why she thought so, she claimed it was simple. A broke loser like me could never treat her the way my boss did. She even bragged about lying to me a few months ago about going on a weekend girls trip with her buddies. In actuality, she had gone out with my boss, and her buddies had covered for her. That explained all of the lovely new gifts, costly clothes, bags, makeup, and jewelry she had been flaunting lately. She had been telling me about a friend of hers who had made a lot of money and was treating everyone well, but now I knew the truth. It was all because of my employer. She stated she was delighted I found out on my own and now wanted a divorce since she was tired of pretending to care about me. She even stated that she would rather be single or my boss's mistress than be married any longer. The marriage was over. Before I could grasp what was occurring, she began gathering her belongings. I did not ask her to stay. I was too proud for that. My heart was devastated, but I knew I needed to let her go. She made no attempt to refute anything or apologize for what she had done. In fact, she appeared pleased to be departing. She was going to grab her laptop and depart, but I told her that anything I had purchased for her would remain. The money was mine, not hers. She frowned when I said that, but did not protest and left the laptop at my place. Everything else I had bought her remained with me, but the laptop was the most important to me, and I had a strategy in place. I needed it as proof for the divorce since I wasn't going to let her off easily, nor was I willing to forgive my boss. Despite our positive working connection, he had no right to hit on my wife and conduct such nasty games. What irritated me the most was his audacity to appear cordial and polite to me at work while he was sleeping with my wife behind my back. I had always gone out of my way to be a great employee and assist him beyond the scope of my job description. That day, I resolved to hold him accountable for his actions against me. I was aware of his recent involvement in a number of questionable activities. He had failed a company-wide drug test, and I knew exactly where the paperwork was stored. He was involved in unlawful activities, and exposing him for one thing would eventually reveal all of his other secrets. My employer was in collusion with the crew who performed the drug tests, and he had bribed them to fabricate a bogus result. He had paid half of the money up front, but opted not to pay the remaining amount after receiving the desired outcomes. As a result, he had a disagreement with the medical team's leader. The head had even emailed the actual test results to my boss as a threat, ordering him to pay the outstanding balance or he would expose him. My employer had received the actual test results just a few days before I learned about Clara's affair, and we had been discussing them in his office. I remembered exactly where he'd put those papers. When I discovered Clara and my employer, I decided to expose him. The next morning, I got up early and went to the office. My supervisor frequently required me to run errands and arrive early, so I kept a spare set of keys for everything. I even had the keys to his office, so getting in was no problem. Once inside, I took the actual test results from his desk drawers and proceeded directly to the police station. There, I detailed the entire case to the cops and left them to handle it. After that, I concluded that what happened to my boss was no longer my concern. He was detained, of course, because the chemicals discovered in his bloodstream were unlawful. Not only was he jailed, but the whole medical team that performed the test is currently under investigation. Basically, everyone is in big trouble, and it's all because of me. I'm not even hiding it. I've informed the cops that I'm available if they require any additional assistance. I have also resigned from my job because I do not want to be involved in anything else there. My boss is currently being investigated. I'm not sure if he'll be charged, but I'm glad I got him in trouble. He's currently suspended, and if the allegations I made are proven accurate, he'll be sacked and likely imprisoned. The only one who is unhappy about this is Clara. She hasn't stopped phoning me since the news about my employer emerged, blaming me for ruining her and her boyfriend's lives. She keeps repeating that doing this to my boss out of anger over the affair is wrong and that she is disappointed in me. She believes what I did was harsh and unfair, claiming that it did not stem from a sense of righteousness. However, this is done out of vengeance, which is never acceptable. So, am I the asshole for reporting my boss to the police for drug use after discovering he was hooking up with my wife? Update 1. 1 week has passed since my last entry here, and I filed for divorce before Clara could. Speaking of her, I've blocked her everywhere. I stopped second-guessing myself after realizing she was a serpent. I did the right thing. It doesn't matter what my intentions were because I reported someone doing something illegal. My supervisor isn't a nice guy, therefore, I don't feel bad about it. If he had been a genuinely decent person with a drug problem, I would have thought twice about putting him through this, but that was not the case. I'm disgusted that I let Clara live with me and provided so much for her for so long. Above all, I feel like an idiot for falling in love with her. A lot of you asked if there were indicators, and I'm sad to say that there weren't. I don't believe anyone in my position would have predicted what was happening. Even after the romance began, she continued to act normally around me. I doubt I would have found out otherwise. Even if there had been indicators, I would never have suspected she was cheating on me, given everything I did for her. I did it out of love, not realizing she was exploiting me. I've even started doubting her claim that her parents didn't want her to acquire a degree. I don't believe it's real anymore, and I doubt she utilized my money to pay off her bills because there were no updates on it. Like an idiot, I never inquired since I totally believed her, which I now understand was a tremendous mistake. Looking back, I see how foolish I was for trusting her more than she deserved. But don't worry, the divorce is happening, and I'll have her back. Update 2. Clara was issued divorce papers 3 days ago, and we received a response from her today. She is not contesting the divorce, but she disagrees with the terms of the petition and wishes to negotiate. That is all right with me. She can bring it on. She is requesting to keep the house, a substantial payment, and alimony. Her statements are bold, given what she did to me. I don't think a known cheater would be so arrogant as to file such a detailed petition to preserve everything for themselves. It's evident she's only wanting my money. I don't think she cares about my employer anymore. He's not in a position to help her financially. Clara is cold and calculated, and I'm pleased I'm seeing this side of her now because it's eliminating any leftover feelings of love or affection I had for her. I won't lie, I'm sad about how she's turned out, but I'm confident I'll destroy her in court. It's all right to be disappointed and process my emotions, but first, I have to win this. We're meeting with a court-appointed mediator in a few days, so we'll see how things go. I also finally acquired the confidence to discuss everything with my folks. I'd been hiding it from them because I was ashamed and embarrassed about what was going on, but I recognized it was a big deal and I wanted to talk to them. I'm glad I did because they were encouraging and promised to assist me financially and emotionally. I believe I will require their financial assistance for some time, as I have recently quit my job and am looking for another. With all of my expenses, rent, and now the lawyer costs, everything is going to be quite expensive, and I will have to dive into my savings. I'm not sure when I'll find a new job because I'm still involved in the drug controversy with my employer, who is currently on trial. I do not believe any employer will hire me while this is continuing. I'm acting as a witness against him, which has been quite emotionally draining, but I know I'm doing the right thing, and that's what motivates me. In the worst-case scenario, I'll simply start working for my father. At least with him, I know my supervisor will never try to screw me over. Update 3. The negotiations have begun. It's been a week and a half since I got the response to my divorce petition. My boss's trial is still ongoing, so no developments there. However, negotiations with my soon-to-be ex-wife aren't going well. During these sessions, she is extremely demanding and lies through her teeth, attempting to portray me as the evil guy and villainizing me in order to back up her claims. She's behaving like the victim in this circumstance, which is quite frustrating to me. She comes to these sessions looking like a widow, as if she's been through a lot. I can see right through her act, and it is terrible. I understand what she's trying to accomplish, and it may sway the mediator, but it won't work on me or my lawyer. We will not back down from our allegations. We will undoubtedly receive what we deserve. I am not going to let her walk away with the alimony settlement she is requesting. I'm not sure why she feels she is entitled to it simply because she is now unemployed. I mean, she physically cheated on me, which I believe disqualifies her from anything. I have the proof, her laptop with all of the text. She hasn't even checked out of her account, but that doesn't matter because I've already captured screenshots. I've shown them during these meetings, but she claims she was forced to hunt for love outside of our marriage because I mistreated her so poorly. She claims I made her do all of the housework, forced her to quit her job, and promised to look after her, but now I'm breaking my word. None of that is true, and hearing her utter such things makes my anger boil. I had to use all of my might to keep myself from walking out of those meetings. My lawyer has told me to remain calm, but it is quite difficult given the circumstances. I won't lie, I'm frustrated. Things are becoming more difficult with each meeting, but I know I must persevere. I'm just hoping it ends soon. I've also had no luck finding a job, which is disappointing. The word of me exposing my boss has spread, and having that kind of reputation in our profession isn't helping me get employed. It feels like I might have to work for my father. There was nothing wrong with that. I only hoped I could find another road. Clearly, it will be harder now that I've chosen to fight the wrong people. Update 4. I filed for divorce 2 months ago, and I'm not going to talk about it today. I'm here to inform you that my employer is going to jail. I'm not sure how long he'll stay there, but it may be 2 or 3 years, though he may be released sooner if he behaves well. The point is, he's currently in jail. I simply feel horrible for his wife. She's a stay-at-home mom who is fully dependent on his money, so now that he's not working, life will be difficult for her. I feel sorry for her and their child. They deserve better, yet this is their current reality. As for me, I've started working for my father. My father was quite pleasant about it, and did not make me feel strange or uneasy at all. The divorce proceedings are still underway, and we have yet to reach a settlement, so negotiations will continue. I'm trying not to let Clara get under my skin anymore, and it's a lot easier now that I don't have any strong feelings for her. Update 5. Hello, it's been nearly 6 months since my previous update. I got so busy working for my father that I forgot to update you. Anyway, a few months ago, my divorce was finalized. Clara had to accept my requirements because they were the best option for her. The mediator made it plain that if we didn't reach a deal, this would go to court, and things would be much more difficult for her then. He told both of us, but I knew he was referring to Clara. She could have lied during our discussions, but she wouldn't get away with it in family court. There would be terrible consequences. So she had no alternative but to concede. We are now divorced and have no contact with one another. To be completely honest, I prefer it this way. I am going to therapy and trying to work on myself. It will be a long path, but I am confident that I will get there someday. I have fantastic friends and very supportive parents, and I'm going to keep them close while I go through this.